If you've ever been told that your arteries are clogged, stiff, or full of plaque, there's something you need to know right away. That plaque didn't build up overnight. It formed slowly, year after year, often without causing a single symptom. No warning signs, no pain, no reason to think anything was wrong. Then suddenly, for many people, the first sign is a heart attack or a stroke. Now, most people assume the only solution is medication. And don't get me wrong, medications can absolutely help. But what surprises many of my patients is that some of the most powerful tools for protecting your arteries aren't found in a prescription bottle. They're sitting in your kitchen right now. My name is Dr. Leon. For more than 15 years, I've worked with men and women in their 60, 70, and 80 who were doing everything they thought they were supposed to do, taking their medications, watching their numbers, trying one diet after another. Yet they still felt confused about what actually helps their arteries and what doesn't. And here's what I discovered. Most people aren't failing because they lack willpower. They're failing because nobody ever explained which foods actually affect plaque buildup, inflammation, and blood flow in a way that's easy to understand and realistic to follow. So today, I'm going to show you the foods backed by real science that can help slow plaque buildup, protect your artery walls, and support better circulation. I'll also reveal a few so-called heart-healthy foods that may be doing more harm than good. And before we finish, I'll share one surprisingly simple habit that research suggests may help shrink existing plaque over time. Because by the end of this video, you'll have something far more useful than another diet rule. You'll have a practical plan you can actually stick with. Now, I want to start by being honest with you about something. If you ask 10 different people what the best heart-healthy diet is, you'll get 10 different answers. Low carb, keto, carnivore, vegan, Mediterranean, paleo, everyone's got an opinion. And after more than a decade of practicing medicine and watching patients struggle, I've come to believe that most of that debate is missing the point entirely. Here's the truth. The best diet in the world is worthless if you can't stick to it. I'd much rather see a patient follow a nutrition plan that's 70% ideal but one they actually maintain for life than chase a perfect diet they abandon after 6 months. So today, we're not going to talk about a rigid diet. Instead, I want to walk you through the most important foods, the ones that keep showing up again and again in the major heart disease research, and help you build them into whatever eating pattern already works for you. Before we talk food, I need to explain something that most doctors don't take the time to explain, and that's how plaque actually builds up inside your arteries. Because once you understand this, you'll see exactly why these foods work. Think of the inside of your blood vessels as a smooth, delicate lining, almost like the inside of a garden hose. Over time, various things can scratch and injure that lining. High blood sugar, high blood pressure, chronic inflammation, even stress. Once that lining is damaged, LDL cholesterol particles, the so-called bad cholesterol, start slipping through the cracks. Your immune system detects this and sends in repair crews. But those repair crews actually make things worse. They cause inflammation. They oxidize the cholesterol. And over time, that whole mess hardens into plaque. The more inflammation you have in your body, the more oxidative stress, the faster that cycle repeats. And eventually, those plaques grow thick enough to narrow your arteries and cut off blood flow to your heart or brain. So what you need are foods that interrupt that cycle at multiple points. Foods that reduce inflammation. Foods that lower the harmful cholesterol particles. Foods that protect that inner lining of your arteries and keep it smooth. Let's talk about exactly what those foods are. The first category is something called lycopene, and you've almost certainly been eating it without knowing it. Lycopene is the red pigment found naturally in tomatoes, watermelon, pink grapefruit, papaya, and guava. And it turns out this compound is one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. Remember that damaging cycle I described where cholesterol gets oxidized and triggers inflammation? Lycopene can actually slow that cycle down. It neutralizes the harmful molecules that damage your arterial lining. Studies have found that people with higher lycopene levels in their blood show slower early-stage plaque development. One large study from Finland found that regular tomato intake, especially cooked tomatoes, tomato products was associated with measurably less plaque buildup in the carotid arteries, which are the arteries on both sides of your neck that supply blood to your brain. Now, here's something interesting. Cooked tomatoes, like tomato sauce or tomato paste, actually have more available lycopene than raw tomatoes. So that bowl of tomato soup? That's medicine in a bowl. The next category involves a group of natural plant compounds called phytosterols, and they work in a surprisingly clever way. Phytosterols are found in flax seeds, sesame seeds, walnuts, almonds, legumes like lentils and chickpeas, and in vegetables like broccoli, carrots, and avocado. Here's what makes them special. Phytosterols look almost identical to cholesterol at a molecular level, so when you eat them, they compete directly with cholesterol for absorption in your intestines. Less cholesterol gets absorbed. Your liver senses this and compensates by pulling more LDL particles, that harmful cholesterol, out of your bloodstream to maintain balance. The result? Over time, there are simply fewer LDL particles circulating through your arteries, which means less opportunity for them to lodge in your arterial walls and start that whole damaging chain reaction. Multiple large analyses have shown that a meaningful increase in dietary phytosterols can reduce LDL cholesterol by an average of about 14 milligrams per deciliter. That may not sound dramatic, but done consistently over years, it makes a real difference in your cardiovascular risk. The third category is one I think you're going to enjoy because it includes dark chocolate. Flavonoids are natural compounds found in berries, apples, oranges, onions, leafy greens, and yes, in high-quality dark chocolate. And they target the plaque-building process in a very specific way. You see, one of the key steps in plaque formation is when the inner wall of your artery becomes sticky. When that happens, white blood cells latch on and pile up, causing inflammation, which causes the plaque to grow. Flavonoids actually make your arterial walls less sticky. They reduce the expression of what doctors call adhesion molecules, essentially the biological glue that allows harmful cells to attach. Less stickiness means less inflammation. Less inflammation means slower plaque growth. One specific type of flavonoid, called catechins, found in green and black tea, deserves special mention. A major analysis that tracked 9 separate studies found that people who drank 3 or more cups of green or black tea per day had a 21% lower risk of stroke compared to people who drank less than 1 cup. That's not a small number. So if you're not already drinking tea, this might be a good time to start. This one shows up in virtually every major heart disease study, and the evidence is hard to ignore. Extra virgin olive oil. Not regular olive oil, not vegetable oil, but genuine extra virgin is loaded with polyphenols and healthy monounsaturated fats that work as both an antioxidant and an anti-inflammatory. Think of it as a soothing balm for that damaged inner lining of your arteries. It helps repair it, reduce the stickiness, and lower inflammation all at once. On top of that, olive oil helps improve insulin sensitivity, which is crucial for older adults because poor insulin response is one of the hidden drivers of arterial damage. High olive oil intake has been consistently associated in major studies with significantly fewer heart attacks and major cardiovascular events. The key is to use it regularly. Drizzle it over salads, vegetables, fish, and to make sure it's genuine extra virgin. If you're not eating salmon, mackerel, or sardines, at least once or twice a week your arteries are missing something important. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. And these aren't just good for you in a vague, general way. These specific fats have been studied extensively for their effect on arterial plaques. One of the largest and longest-running heart disease studies ever conducted, called the Multi-Ethnic Study of Atherosclerosis, found that people with higher DHA levels in their blood had a 12% lower rate of plaque progression in the carotid arteries. That's the kind of plaque that breaks off and causes strokes. Here's how omega-3s work. They calm down the overactive immune response that makes plaques grow and destabilize. They also increase your production of something called nitric oxide, a natural molecule your body makes that relaxes blood vessels, lowers blood pressure, and helps stabilize existing plaques so they're less likely to rupture and cause a sudden heart attack or stroke. Now, here's the part that might surprise you because some of these foods are being actively marketed to you as heart healthy. Flavored yogurts. Regular yogurt is genuinely healthy, but most flavored yogurts are loaded with added sugar. The fix is simple: buy plain, full-fat yogurt and add a small drizzle of honey or fresh fruit yourself. Granola bars and breakfast bars. Many of these are essentially candy bars with better packaging. Always read the ingredient label. If sugar in any of its many forms is in the first 3 ingredients, put it back on the shelf. Fruit juices. This one catches a lot of people off guard. Even 100% natural, no added sugar, orange juice, or apple juice delivers a concentrated hit of sugar directly into your bloodstream without the fiber from whole fruit that would normally slow that absorption down. Fresh fruit is wonderful. Liquid fruit sugar, without fiber, much less so. The common thread with all of these is simple. Processed sugars and refined carbohydrates drive inflammation and blood sugar spikes. Both of those accelerate the exact same plaque-building process we've been talking about. Now, food is powerful, but if you want to really give your arteries every advantage, there are a couple of additional things worth knowing about. Exercise, specifically interval training. A randomized controlled study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology found that just 6 months of supervised high-intensity interval training produced a measurable reduction in actual plaque volume. And here's what made the researchers take notice. The plaque reduction was slightly greater than what they typically see from statin medications. Now, we don't yet know exactly how that translates to long-term outcomes, but those early results are genuinely remarkable. You don't have to run sprints. For someone in their 60 or 70, interval training could simply mean alternating between a brisk walk and a normal pace, pushing your heart rate up for a minute or 2, then recovering. Even that pattern creates real cardiovascular benefits. Aged garlic extract. I know garlic supplements might not sound exciting, but the evidence here is surprisingly solid. A double-blind randomized controlled trial found that aged garlic extract can help stabilize vulnerable plaques, the kind most likely to rupture. A separate year-long trial found that people taking aged garlic extract daily showed slower progression of coronary artery, calcium essentially, less hardening of the arteries, and improved blood pressure compared to those who didn't take it. And finally, sauna therapy. The evidence here isn't as direct, but it's worth mentioning. Multiple studies have shown that regular sauna use improves the function of that inner arterial lining. Meta-analyses have linked it to meaningful blood pressure reductions. And there's even data suggesting regular sauna use is associated with significantly lower risk of death from all causes, not just heart disease. If you have access to a sauna and your doctor has no concerns, it's a simple, relaxing addition to your heart health routine. So let's bring this all together. If you want to protect your arteries and potentially reverse some of the damage that's already there, focus on these 5 food categories. Lycopene-rich red and pink produce, phytosterol-rich seeds and legumes, flavonoid-rich berries, tea, and yes, a little dark chocolate, extra virgin olive oil every single day, and fatty fish 2 to 3 times a week. Cut back on the hidden sugars, the flavored yogurts, the granola bars, the juices, because that's where inflammation quietly sneaks in. Add some interval-style movement into your week. Look into aged garlic extract. And if you can, use a sauna regularly. None of this requires a perfect diet. None of it requires you to give up everything you enjoy. It just requires consistency, showing up for your heart every day, 1 meal at a time. Your arteries have been working for you for 6, 7, 8 decades. It's time to work a little for them.